How did we get here?
It's the biggest thing from Japan since the Power Rangers.
When it comes to the biggest Pokemon craze, it has to be the trading cards.
We expect this to probably be the biggest success in the toy industry's history.
Because we have seen this before.
Fighting over these valuable cards?
Violence.
Police say it all started with a disagreement over trading cards.
Get out of here, guys.
There was even a man who pulled a gun on another customer just to get Pokemon cards.
And when demand outpaces supply, it quickly becomes a seller's market.
This one box here has tripled in price.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, availability for a specific Pokemon product, specifically a new set called Prismatic Evolutions, has been very, very difficult to get, causing prices to rise, whether it's at local card stores or even places like Walmart, which usually sells at MSRP, have raised their prices. But this has happened before, and how exactly do we get out of it? And most importantly, what is exactly going on? The Pokemon Company International recently released a statement, and I'm gonna go ahead and read that statement for y'all because I think it's very important, because the Pokemon Company International almost never makes statements like this. They're usually pretty vague, but I'll let y'all decide if this one is vague or do you have hope? We're aware that some fans may experience difficulties purchasing certain Pokemon TCG Prismatic Evolutions products at launch due to high demand impacting availability. We understand this inconvenience can be disappointing for fans, and we are actively working to print more of the impacted products as quickly as possible and at max capacity to acknowledge this. Reprinted products are expected to be available at participating retailers as soon as possible to help ensure more fans receive opportunities to access Prismatic Evolutions. In addition, more new products from Prismatic Evolutions lineup will be launching in the coming months, as we do know. We'd like to thank the community for their continued support and patience as we work to deliver the highly anticipated expansion to fans. The first question I thought was this, the big question. Will these extra prints be just for the big box stores, which already struggle with placing limits? And even now, Walmart, as I mentioned before, has charged more than MSRP. Usually it's $49.99. They were charging $80 per ETB. Or will distributors get some to allocate to local card stores and smaller sellers that were cut of their original allocations? Now, I know there was a lot of big words here, such as distributors, allocations, card stores, smaller sellers, and I will get into all of that, but I think we need to take a step back, and I know you may laugh, but let's actually define what a scalper is. I took this from Cambridge Dictionary. Someone who buys things such as theater tickets or Pokemon cards at the usual prices and then sells them when they are difficult to get at much higher prices. You're probably thinking, oh, it's just anyone that charges a higher price for cards in general is automatically a scalper. That's not necessarily correct. But I think the most thing we think to when we think of scalper is someone who goes into a big box store like a Costco or Target and buys everything, leaves nothing for anyone else with the sole intention of reselling it for a higher price. Something that is actually very common in the ticketing world. You see sites like Ticketmaster and other ones, those are built solely for people that want to sell their tickets, mostly for reselling them. Sure, you know, you have your cases of I just can't make it, so I need a place to sell my tickets, but mostly these people are using it to scalp tickets, and it's in very different many niches. So is random willy-nilly Bill from the street a scalper that goes into a Target or stalks the distribution guy or somehow has some connection with the distribution guy from that third-party XL play? I don't know, XL marketing maybe is what they're called? I'm not sure. Regardless, the people that stock the Target, it's not Target itself or the stores itself. They bring them in and stock it itself. Now, people find out when these people come to the stores, stock them, and then wait till they put it up, or even sometimes have contacts with these guys, and then they go and buy out the whole store with the sole intention of reselling the product. That is what a scalper is. Now you may ask, oh, I go into my local card store and they're selling boxes at 4 times MSRP. Then that's definitely an issue. You're like, why are you jacking up the prices for a set that's available everywhere else? But it's not as simple as that when it comes to the next thing. Local card stores and just sellers in general, whether you're an online seller or just a smaller seller in general. Well, I have a list out right here of just kind of explaining what a local card store is. They're a specialized retailer that usually sells at a higher rate. If they run out of products, they go out of business. 2, they can't compete with big box stores. Big box stores get, probably millions and millions of boxes that are allocated straight from Pokemon to these stores that go across the entire world at your local Targets and Walmarts and everything. A local card store, mom and pop store, is not gonna be able to compete with that. In fact, if they sell their cards at lower prices, like for instance, the Scarlet and Violet sets that were very, very plentiful just like a month ago, a lot of these stores and online stores were selling them for lower than MSRP, which was lower than the Targets and Walmarts and stuff. You couldn't do that unless you were a local card store. But now, because supply and demand both increased at the same time, we are running into issues, which brings me to point 4. In most cases, the local card stores get from distribution. Now, distribution is like the all-important people, and it's multiple companies that get their product from Pokemon and then decide how they distribute it to their many, many different types of retailers and local card stores. For the most case, they get the stuff for their usual prices when things are going fine, and then stores can actually make a little bit of profit, but then it's easy to just walk in and buy the stuff. But that's when you get your usual allocation from the distributor, which you're usually at the mercy of. But in this case, while they make it some for the same price or the usual price, their usual allocation, which means how much they were expecting product to get, or what they ask for, in this case, it was severely cut. That's for virtually every single store. So I asked this question, how are they going to make up? How is a local card store going to make up that lost amount? Well, they have to make up for that by raising the prices of the current inventory that they got. They raised those prices up. They're now making what they were expecting to make in the first place and expecting to help cover running the store in general. It is not easy to run a card store. Not necessarily saying that for myself, but I know plenty of card stores across the entire world. I even did a video recently that was detailing the hardships of how difficult it is, the reality of actually running a card store. And it is way more than even I thought as I was talking to the owner of the card store. It is hard.
When you're a new store, the maximum they'll give you is 1 or 2 cases. After that, the next set, they'll give you 3 or 4 cases. Or the next set after that, they'll give you 4 or 5. But if it's a good set, everyone is cut back down to 4 cases.
That's why these local card stores are raising their prices, yes, more than MSRP, because it's not fair to compare a big box store that gets tons of allocation and can sell it at MSRP compared to a local card store where their allocations were severely cut and they got bills to pay. They want to stay in business.
The biggest struggle is to even get products for your store. So you end up buying from the secondary market. People who go to Target, people go Walmart, they'll come and they'll resell it back to us. And then we have to try to make a little bit of money, so we have to slap a little tax on top of that.
They even sell it at MSRP when they get their lower quantity product in. That's gonna go away very, very fast. And then somebody walks in and there's nothing on the shelves. What are they gonna exactly sell?
To keep products in the store for customers to come even to buy, that's also, that was the most unexpected, where you're always struggling to look for more products. Like, we gotta find something for our customers. We don't wanna look like we're going out of business here, guys.
Now, I'm not saying all of this to necessarily defend card stores or big box stores or Pokemon in general. I'm saying this because this is what's happening. This is why we got to where we are right now, why prices are going up. But obviously, it stems at the very, very top. By top, I mean the Pokemon Company International, the highest grossing media franchise in the entire world. You ask yourself, How is a company that is profiting that much not able to meet demand, not able to meet printing more cardboard?
So far this year, sales of trading cards, toys, and video games surpassed $500 million in the U.S. Another $4 billion was sold overseas. Hasbro, one of Nintendo's 100 U.S. licensees, is still fighting to keep up with demand, even after boosting production capacity 20 times.
We expect this to probably be the biggest success in the toy industry's history.
Well, it's not necessarily as simple as just saying print more, but it all stems at the very top. And it brings me back to the pandemic and supply issues, because this has happened before.
Shoppers at a Brookfield Target were forced to run and hide after a fight this morning in the parking lot.
Police say it all started with a disagreement over trading cards.
In some cases, even fighting over these valuable cards.
Violence.
Walmart and Target have actually had to stop selling these because people were making a mess in the store and even getting violent. And those weren't kids, those were adults. There was even a man who pulled a gun on another customer just to get Pokemon cards.
Back when the pandemic happened and warehouses for Pokemon closed down, specific cardboard and material was not able to be gotten by the Pokemon Company International. Thus, they were not able to print up to demand. So supply did not meet demand, and we were presented with big box stores getting rated and prices of cards going up.
And when demand outpaces supply, it quickly becomes a seller's market.
These boxes here have actually gone up in price faster than some of our football boxes. This one box there has tripled in price. So it's caused the price of the packs to go from about $2.99 all the way up to currently at about $6.99.
Just a month?
Less than a month, about a week and a half to 2 weeks.
A sure sign of Pokemon's arrival as a player is the creation of a Pokemon Beckett price guide. Last month, Beckett printed more Pokemon guides than baseball. That's unheard of.
Now, I will be eventually getting to some potential solutions, if you may call them that, because I didn't want to just do a video just to talk about the problem. This video is for educating and then having some thoughts and potentially some solutions that I want to present. Which brings me to my first solution. The most important thing that can happen to fix all problems is for the Pokemon Company International to print more. Easier said than done. However, there's things that Pokemon is just not telling us, and they don't have to tell us. It was great that they released a statement earlier. Now again, what that exactly means for us, the community, we don't necessarily know. We can absolutely hope that it means allocations are gonna be sent across to all the retailers and stuff. Not necessarily big box, which I'll get into shortly, but the local card stores, because if they get more, prices should hopefully go down, or so you'd think. So I've heard there was potential warehouse issues with actually the printing running line and stuff for printing cards, which began around Surging Sparks. Now, is that true? I don't know. When stuff like what's happening right now in the market and all across different niches, you start wondering what's going on. Digressing just a sec back to pandemic time, you talk about supply issues. It wasn't just with Pokemon and cardboard and the paper to print. It was happening with graphics cards for computers and other types of technology. It was happening especially for PlayStation as well. There was that time you had so much demand for PlayStations and those were getting scalped too. Sony couldn't make enough of them because of the certain parts. They couldn't get the actual ingredients to make more PlayStations. And that's happening right now. So is there a technical issue in the warehouse? I don't know, but certainly that would cause some issues. But then you have to consider the ultimate truth. We are in a capitalistic market, for whether you love it or not, and Pokemon is a business. They want to make profit first and foremost. Do they want people to buy their product? Absolutely. Do they want it sitting on a shelf if they overprint it and it sits? Specifically, remember Scarlet and Violet? No, because then they're not making money and product is just sitting on the shelf. So you leave the question of just how much does Pokemon print if they are even able to, and do they even want to? Because if you print too much and now it's just sitting on the shelves for months and months, well, you're not making any profit as a business. I think that's one of the overlying ultimate solution, and we'll see what comes to fruition with Pokemon's statement. Now, my second solution is the following, and that is the big word, limits. Sure, it's easier for local card stores to place limits on what they sell. Yes, there's a massive problem with bots and I don't know enough about the online technological world as far as how to prevent bots exactly. I've done best myself to try to prevent them from whenever I sell stuff, but it still happens unfortunately, and that's a whole nother video topic. But in this case, you walk into a local card store, you can easily, the owner or the employee says, yes, we're only selling 2, and they're behind the counter or something like that. That's easy. The question is, how do you exactly police the big box stores? Will a little piece of paper that says, you are not allowed to buy more than this many? Well, sure, in some cases that may work, because if you do go to the self-checkout, it won't let you ring up more than, let's say, like 5 booster packs or something like that. Then again, it's not always the case. You go to an actual employee, and the employee just rings it up. So it's like, are we expecting these hourly employees to actually police this or want to police this? And how often? You see the long lines, you see the fights. Yes, I think it can be done. Costco can definitely limit the amount of boxes that are put out, or they know something is so popular, have it be a special exception, like Walmart sometimes putting the products behind the counter. But at the end of the day, are they gonna even want to? A business wants product to sell as fast as possible, like a big box store. It's not really in their good efforts or intentions for them to keep product on the shelf long. And if it sells out fast, then they're good to go. Different for a local card store. What brings me to the next solution, and that is hype. That's it. That's all I have for that specific one. Now, what is hype exactly? Is it getting excited that you want to open the newest set, or the newest PlayStation that just came out, or going to see your favorite player play at a basketball game or football game and stuff, and you're so excited, or you do videos excited about it and talking about it, reviewing it, unboxing it and stuff? Sure, that is what I think is a great, good type of hype. Is there a negative side to hype? Absolutely. Now, what is it exactly? Well, maybe an example can be you're opening up stuff well ahead of the street release date. And that's all what people have to go by, of like, oh my gosh, this set has terrible pull rates now because of this one person opening it up, or this person now opening it over here, or this person over here, or the person in the video is now saying stuff and coming up with, oh my gosh, we need this, or saying this about this card, that this card, we need this because it's gonna be worth this much, or there's this is not printing in this specific way, it's gonna be so hard to get this, think of Evolving Skies, or actually going online, putting a card on eBay, like we saw the Umbreon going for like $18,000, which I'm pretty sure was fake, but people start sharing pictures of that Umbreon in that listing, which you think, oh, I'm just making fun of this is funny. No, people start saying that and they're like, wait, is it really going for that much? They don't look into things. You expect people to look into things? Not really. That's why I'm doing this video right now, is to try to educate even myself. So there's good hype and there's bad hype, and the bad hype can certainly lead to FOMO. Like, I'm gonna miss out on this set. But at the same time, the two bigger issues are the solutions which I said above, simply printing more and doing a better job of actually policing the limits on product. Now, are those the only types of solutions, quote unquote? No, not necessarily. And I'm not sitting here pretending to know all the answers. This is just what I felt like I wanted to do and I wanted to say. If anyone would love to share their thoughts, you are more than welcome to in the comment section below. That's what's great about the internet, and hopefully people doing their research to learn just why things are the way they are. Last but not least, this is what I have to say. And it's not necessarily the happy answer, but it's because we just don't know necessarily what's gonna happen. We're only going off of what Pokemon has said in the recent statement and what we've seen before. Be patient. I know, easier said than done. And I'm not trying to sit here being like, haha, I'm gonna go get product and do a 500 or 1,000 pack opening. No, I don't do that in general, massive openings like that. And if you can, that's completely on you. I'm just saying, will I get product? Eventually I'll get product. And if I do, I'm opening it right at when I'm allowed to by Pokemon to open it, not before street date. But please, be patient. This has happened before and we were fine through pandemic. No one was complaining when we had Scarlet and Violet available in stores. It wasn't even being sold for lower than MSRP. We were all happy it was available. It was cheap. The way to do that below MSRP was those random retailers and local card stores. But I think Pokemon will adjust, like they recently mentioned, and print more, and like all things, this will pass.